People who have straight up rage quit a job. What was the final straw? Many years ago, while working in a manufacturing facility, my boss came into work already pissed off because his wife served him divorce papers. Saying, "Good morning," was apparently enough to set him off, and he picked up a wrench from the table and threw it at my head. I ducked. It missed. Then I just closed my toolbox and wheeled it to the truck. Lol. I was flat out lied to about the position. It was a management position at a residential mental health facility, and I had taken it, leaving a great paying but stressful position, because it wouldn't require travel and was supposed to be much more laid back. On top of many other issues, I ended up having to work 8 weeks straight without a single day off, even weekends and one holiday. So after a very heated meeting with upper management where one person was flat out lying to cover their own butt, I sent a resignation email from the parking lot. I never have. But my favorite example was when a coworker in student transportation, who had finally gotten a position she wanted after years of suffering through stress in another, was called by management over the summer and told she was being reassigned to the stressful position because no one else wanted to do it. She had fought too long and hard to get what she wanted. And her immediate response was, "Then tell me what I need to do to resign." She did. And she's been at peace with her decision ever since. When I was driving home and my blood pressure shot through the roof cause somebody was driving the same make, model and color car as the boss. Obviously that wasn't the straw. Just the recognition that there was to be no more straws. At one office job, I quit after the first day because the lady training me would ignore me when our manager wasn't around. And I caught her snooping through my purse when I went to the bathroom. At another job at a clinic, I quit after a month because they made me do a solo receptionist shift without training me on what I needed to do to open the clinic. And then I got yelled at for not knowing what to do in front of patients. It was so bad. Some of the patients came up to me after and asked if I was okay. Godfather's Pizza. The manager wouldn't give me my paycheck at 8 p.m. on Sunday because the money might not be in the account yet, but I could pick it up at 9 a.m. Monday. This was decades ago, before direct and mobile deposits. The bank wouldn't be open until the next day anyway. All of the paychecks were literally in his hand at that moment. There were lots of issues before that, but that was the final sign that the manager was completely uninterested in reason. In the next few weeks nearly everyone else quit. Then the manager was finally fired. Had a sweet schedule working security in a Class A office building. 3 swings. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and 2 graves. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. per week. My weekend was Friday and Saturday. The graves were actually really chill. Easy to deal with. I liked them. But only 2 of them. Then we get a new security company. All the supervisors are fired and new ones from the new company are brought in. Suddenly I'm working 5 graves. I ask for a change to swing. No dice. They offer to move me to a different site. It's 5 graves again. I find out my old supervisor is now working as security manager at a local mall. I give him a call and he offers me a job. I took it. Grabbed my uniform from the old company. Drove to the office. Walked it. Dropped my uniform on the director's desk. Turned and walked out. Went down to the mall and picked up my new uniform. The boss told me I should be sleeping at his house because that's the level of dedication he needed from me. Bye. My boss cursed me because I took a phone message for him. Because he was already on a call. Apparently he was eagerly awaiting the call I answered and would have preferred I interrupted him. I threw a pencil at the wall. Said, "Do I look like a mind reader? Cut me my check." I quit. He tried hard to backpedal, but there had been many previous straws. Had to drive to a site. Directions were wrong. Ended up having to walk a mile in North Texas in July with 35 pounds of materials. ETA. This is Priscell phone. Well, I'm genuinely about to right now after my manager told me our dishwasher is broken and won't get fixed until at least Thursday, and I have to pull solo shifts next week because we're seriously understaffed after 2 people were let go in January. Despite me telling management repeatedly that we actually need more people to account for all the vacation days and sick leaves happening right now. Update. Apparently restarting fixed the broken dishwasher. So that's at least one problem off my back. Worked at a Korean barbecue restaurant. They said since I was unexperienced they will cut my wages. Hired me as a server and made me clean toilets and grills all day. 12-hour shift. Gave me $9.45 in cash. Quit on the spot. Was having a meeting with the boss, who was a difficult guy to work with. And he stood up and punched the wall. He wasn't doing it jokingly. He bare-knuckled went at the wall of his own office like he was in the gym hitting a punching bag. I sat there in astonishment for about 2 seconds. Then stood up and left. Cleared out my desk. Exited through the back door without a word to anyone. There's no place for that conduct in the professional world, even if the guy does own the company. This was 20 years ago. My fiancé had been hospitalized for 16 months after a car accident. When she passed away, my boss would not let me have time off for bereavement because we were not legally married. I was working as the kitchen bitch at a 24-hour Greek restaurant. Hired as dishwasher. Also doing cold prep and maintenance. I was the guy peeling 50-pound bags of onions, carrots, potatoes, as well as making dry ribs, pizza, salad. I had booked off 3 days over a weekend. Got called on day 2 at 7 a.m. telling me I was late. Got there and was told I was on the 11 a.m. start. Then it got changed to 4 p.m. when I went in again. Then got changed to 11 p.m. when I went in for 4 p.m. And when I went in for 11 p.m. it was changed again to actually have me off for the 3 days. 4 schedule changes in 24 hours. Laws here say 1 week minimum notice. That owner would change the schedule after you clocked out to say you worked shorter hours on a regular basis, and you pretty much had to check at 7 a.m. to see if you were on for the day. I had my choice words, told them I'd be back in 2 weeks for my paycheck. The owner of the company told me to fire a woman for arriving to work right on time. It was always something different with him. Some ridiculous new rule that he applied retroactively to suit whatever mood he was in on any given day. And that particular morning, he took it as a personal insult and a show of blatant disrespect that his employees didn't arrive early. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't fire this woman, who I didn't even particularly like, to satisfy this new whim of his. So instead of firing her, I marched into his office and quit myself. Funnily enough, the woman I wouldn't fire continued working for him for years. She might even still be there now, 20-some years later. Was told I did not have experience to move up. Hired a person with 1/20th of my experience in that position. Was promised that if I got my accounting degree they would move me to IA so I could get hours towards my CPA. Worked my ass off. Graduated. And the boss said, "Yeah, we're going to move you to customer service. Sound good?" Quote. Stayed late that night drafting a company-wide, "fuck you" email. Probably shouldn't have done that in hindsight. But some bridges just beg to be burned. He gave me literally 72 hours worth of work and insisted it be completed in 36 hours. When I pointed the inconsistency out, he said, "Do what you can." And when I submitted it, he called me from vacation to scream at me about mistakes. I deleted everything, walked away, blocked him on everything. I mean 72 business hours and 36 calendar hours. Worked in retail. Sprained my ankle really bad while ice skating. Couldn't so much as get out of bed. Had to call in and take 2 days off before I was even able to limp to work. Soon as I got back in, manager pulled me into his office to scream at me for taking 2 days off. For a physical injury that physically made it so I could not do my job. Threw a cold cup of coffee on him and walked out. My only regret is that the coffee was cold.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.